Hello YouTube, today we are going back to a new installment of the Hypertrophy series. I said in a previous video that I thought this was going to be in 10 parts. Actually, let's make it 20 because there are so many subjects to discuss that it's probably going to be a very long running series. And today we're going to talk about maximum recoverable volume. This is a term that if you try to learn more about training, you will have faced at one point or the other. We have discussed on a previous installment the difference between volume and tonnage, so you should be familiar with what volume is. So what could maximum recoverable volume be? Well, as the term implies, it is going to be the utmost amount of volume your body is able to take without breaking, without injuries, that it can then recover from and get better from. That means that there is such a thing as too much volume. Because if there is a maximum amount that your body can recover from, surely there is a threshold that if you cross it, you're basically doing work for nothing, or even worse, you are regressing. And this is a fear that I know is prevalent and very present in many lifters, where they think they can do too much. They think that if they do that one extra set, they are going to not only waste their time, but also damage their progress. I personally believe that within the same session, this is not something that is realistic, meaning that if you throw in an extra set of squats, unless you injure yourself during that extra set of squats, you're not going to damage your progress. It can be argued that set of squats was useless because it didn't produce any more stress, even though I would argue that more work is always going to result in better results. But that's my bias on it. On the other hand, I personally think that idea of volume that is superfluous is much more important to take into account when we speak about a training week. Meaning that within the same session, doing that extra set of squats might not be a problem, but doing an extra set of the same body part too soon after you work that body part can be a problem. I do personally think that if you kill your quads on Monday, you shouldn't be working your quads again on Tuesday. You need to let the muscle recover and rest. How long? Well, most people will tell you 24 to 48 hours. Some people will tell you that the muscle fibers are fully recovered in 24 hours, but that the protein synthesis lasts 48 hours, so that the process of the muscle rebuilding itself lasts 48 hours. I would personally always give 2 days to a muscle group to recover. And that's how I structure my body part split. I never work the same muscle 2 days in a row. Now, there are exceptions, meaning that, in my opinion, doing some light exercise for a body part that you worked the day before, just to throw in some blood, nothing heavy or strenuous, can actually have a positive impact on recovery. But I'm sort of going off topic here. These things I will also discuss in other installments of the hypertrophy series. Now we're focusing on the maximum recoverable amount of volume your body can take. This notion is going to be different from individual to individual. Eventually, I'm going to be posting my full workouts, and I think that most people are going to tell me that I'm doing too much because I really do a lot of volume during the same session. But it's what works for me. It's what allows me to progress and get bigger and better. It's not going to work for you. So it's going to be a game of finding out where you stay, what amount of volume is going to be sufficient for you, what is going to throw you over the edge, what is going to be too much, what is going to make you be overtrained. All of that is going to be you studying your own body through experimentation. And the reason why it is so important to be able to know exactly the amount of volume your body can take is that this is how you optimize your training, because you always want to be right there. You always want to be at the brink of overtraining so that you do all the work you can. And the reason why is, I think that most people, and that's what I spoke about in my video about overtraining, most people undertrain. The vast majority of people don't overtrain, and I think the fear of overtraining is the reason why so many people do so low. They do a bit, they're tired, and they just pack it up and go home, and they think, oh, if I do more, I'll overtrain. No, actually, this is what would have led to better results. It's that extra work when you're already tired. So you need to find that point, because if you keep cutting volume, stuff that you should have been doing that you don't do, no wonder people do 5 years of training and they don't get the results they want. It's because they sold themselves short. So you need to push the envelope a bit to find where you stand and to be able to find what the maximum recoverable amount of volume you can do is. And that amount should be climbing as you age and as you gather experience in bodybuilding, powerlifting, or whatever you're doing. And this is where tonnage comes into play, because this is where tonnage starts becoming interesting, and this is when the notion in itself starts having some utility over volume. Your volume and intensity is going to increase, and that's going to lead to a direct increase in tonnage. You should always strive towards having more and more tonnage, in my opinion. Meaning that if I see the way you train bench, let's say when you're in your 22, and I see that you're getting a certain amount of tonnage, like let's say random number, 2,000. In 2 years, when you're 24, I should see your number for chest being much, much higher than that. Because whether you increase intensity, the weight on the bar, or the number of reps or sets, all of that is going to lead to more tonnage. And I personally, at least for hypertrophy, because remember, this is the hypertrophy series, I do not believe that just getting stronger is going to lead to getting bigger. You can go from squatting 300 to 400 pounds, but if you tweak your program so that your tonnage stays the same, you're not going to see much size gains in your legs. I also think, but even though it's not my domain, but I also think that strength is going to suffer. You're going to plateau eventually. Unless you're a complete outlier, most people need more tonnage to stimulate their muscles more and to help their nervous system build strength. Because strength is not just the nervous system. The nervous system sends impulsions to the muscles. The bigger your muscles are, the more the leverage is efficient, the more the nervous system can move the weight. So that's the video for maximum recoverable volume. It's a very easy concept to understand, but because it is ever evolving, it is something that's going to increase with time, it's going to keep you on your toes, because it's something you're always going to have to pay attention to stimulate progress and boost hypertrophy. Thank you for watching. I will be making many more videos in the hypertrophy series, and I hope you enjoy them. Have a good day.